Welcome, everyone, to San Antonio by Night, our wonderful little vampire story in the Alamo City. Last we left off, our two coterie mates at this point, I suppose, were looking to get more information out of Carlos once he had been delivered by the right hand of Baron Delgado, who goes by the name Damien McCarthy. Once Carlos was delivered and was revived, uh, having been left in a torpid state, the the two decided to question Carlos and figure out what exactly he might have known, if anything, more than Urien and Benji already knew about drug trade and possibly what's going on with Baron Jameson, and why, after so many years of a stalemate, Jameson's finally started to make moves. Some progress, perhaps, was made in developing fear, a rapport, maybe both, in Carlos. And so we begin a new night. The two kindred of our city that we follow tonight maybe looking to develop more with Carlos or less. Benji, you seem to have taken a keen eye to this new fledgling born out of necessity, maybe, by Urien. Why don't you give us a little bit of an idea as to where you are in your mind and your plans for this new kindred?
Well, generally speaking, I don't want him to just up and die. I get it. There's this whole masquerade business. More kindred out and about in the city, the bigger that risk is. Here's the thing, it's gotta mean something. It can't just be anything more or less than making a new undead life and then giving up on it, throwing it to the wind. I'm not about using for the sake of use. That's just where I stand. But I do admit, the more I talk with this fucking idiot, the more I'm convinced he's asking to be put down. I'm trying to stick my neck out for him, but he does a real good damn job pissing me off. But I gotta show him I'm running the show now. He's gonna take me to his favorite little crack den, whether he wants to or not, and then we're gonna take charge of the place. I've made my choice on that. I'm cleaning shop, and if I can't get the mess out, I'm just gonna have to organize it.
It certainly seems that Carlos was getting under your skin previous night. And he was being a little bit of shit. So we'll see exactly how it is that goes. But you're not the only one who watches Carlos. Perhaps Urian's also watching you to see exactly how it is that you handle Carlos and perhaps deal with this drug issue that seems to be going around. The usual stuff, of course. So, Urian, where are you in your head today?
I am thinking of, well, I find myself growing nostalgic. The truth of the matter is that I am trying to hide from modern times. I'm hiding from it in that I had to do something I really did not wish to. I do not regret the decision. It is what needed to be done. That I hold true. But I had my eye on another. I had my eye on them for so long. One I would mold properly. Instead, I am stuck with this ingrate. This individual who does not understand nor cares of the gift that has been given to him. A chance at immortality. A chance at true power and understanding the world. I feel exhausted. And I feel as though I am being sidetracked from my studies, my own development. And yet, I must continue going on. Benji has a plan. I am willing to support this plan to the best of my abilities, in so far as to see what Benji is capable of. See, Benji is unknown to me. I do not know where he comes from, nor do I know his sire. I am concerned, but at this point, I need a better understanding. I am observing something I have not seen in quite some time. A Ventru, an anarch Ventru, who is now looking over this Bruja child clans that have been at each other's throats for centuries. This is unusual and worth the distinction. Still, I am trying to end up exercising patience. Perhaps I spend too much time with those that are still not even a few years into their embrace. Their impatience is growing on me. But perhaps that's a good thing. No complacency. Moving forward. Some nights it's a curse, but others it is a stark reminder. Still, I wonder and wait.
The the young certainly seem to like to move quickly. And so we begin tonight with rouse checks from both of you. Urien, thankfully your beast is fairly satisfied for the moment. Just a small voice in the back of your head is not much worse than normal. But Benji, yours starts to get a little louder, a little more frustrated, a little more agitated. In the back of your mind, you wonder when it is that you'll throw your next punch, when it is that you'll feed on your next juicy morsel.
It wasn't that long ago yet. Here I am again.
The curse of kindred. Always hungry. The both of you have woken up in your individual places and have gathered together. Benji You have gathered together with Urien at the coterie house, where in the middle of the domain that's quickly becoming known as the sanctuary, you find yourself inside the house. What do you both plan to do?
At this point, I wait for Benji. I promise to look after the Boruha, and I will. I simply need to know his mind. I might even hear Carlos yelling downstairs. May have to gag him before we leave. But I am curious. How long will we leave him down there when he starts crying for blood? When he starts begging, the hunger being driving him near mad. I am left curious as I feel the key in my hand. I could unleash him at any time. But to leave him unattended in this city would be reckless and irresponsible. He is not even close to ready. Forced into this world. It is unfair. I do not deny this. But still, I did not choose him. So, to me, he is simply a corpse, still waiting to be buried until he proves otherwise.
Benji pulls himself out of a somewhat fairly vacant room. He enters the main area of the house, meets with Urien. He's pensive, agitated. All the conversation from the last night left him clearly frustrated. And that's an understatement. Okay, so here's the thing. He turns to Urien. I can't get any information out of him any traditional way. He's not a talker. He's a stubborn asshole.
And you wish for me to change this?
More like you have the key. And I'm thinking we need to change tactics. I need to change tactics.
And how would you go about this, Benji?
Well, adaptation is born of necessity, as they say. So, maybe if we put him in a circumstance of necessity, we can get what I need out of him. That is, I want to stress him out. I really want to stress him out. Worse than he stressed me out.
Are you ready for such burdens? This is not a path that you can walk and turn away from. And it will make you queasy if there is anything left of a soul in that corpse of yours.
Well, hell, I'm not saying I want to torture the guy, but like...
And it won't be him that you'd be torturing. He pulls out Carlos's driver's license and places it on the table. Slides it towards Benji.
Are you suggesting we attack people close to him?
There are certain things that remain true amongst the living. Why do you need such income? Why do you deal in drugs? Why do you work? Why do you perform your 9 to 5? There is someone out there who he is trying to impress or provide for, or perhaps he was hoping to save for a wedding ring. You find that person, and you bring them here. And we will let him know the nature of himself. And if he wishes to comply, then fantastic. If not, well, at the very least he'll be fed.
You have a good idea, and I'm scared about it. They're gonna be
Why?
innocent, probably.
Innocent. Innocent. Benji, there are many degrees of people who would claim an innocent. Every time you feed, there is an innocent involved. Every time a breach of the masquerade happens, there is the murder and dismemberment of an innocent. Do you know why it is I take that so seriously? Because unlike many who are still learning, they know it's a good rule. He uses air quotes in the most cringy way possible. But when it comes down to it, they do not have it in them to clean up the mess and claim this is unfair. I think it's unfair that others get dragged into it. So, perhaps you should let him know of what I am willing to do and ask him if he thinks I am a liar. Because I have never lied to you. I have never lied to him. I have never lied, Benji. And I worship the Prince of Lies.
Alright.
So, if you want to make him play ball, fantastic. I can potentially do so with a flick of a wrist if I wished it. But the truth is that he needs to come to grips with what he is and who he is, and accept his place amongst us. Find his place amongst us.
That he do. Okay.
This is your show, Benji.
Mm.
You tell me what you wish. I will tell you how to make it so.
Let's go get them.
He,
Does he have a phone? Did he have any other contacts on his phone?
Urien produces the phone. You'll find that all the contacts were cleared out, as earlier described.
Alright.
He is a peddler of narcotics. I would suspect he would be doing far less, or far more to cover his tracks. But I do know he works at the hospital as a security guard.
Shouldn't be too hard to go up and ask if he's on shift. Ask who knows him. Wonder if that's too suspicious, though. Oh well. Let's go check it out.
Of course. He starts to walk down. He doesn't say anything to Carlos. He will gag him. Get him to stay quiet. Probably panderingly pats him on the head.
You noticing that he makes a little bit of a cringe face and kind of tries to move his head so that your mouth is not covering your hand is not covering his mouth, but since he can't move that much, he's not very successful.
Well, he's stuffing in the old, stuffing in all of the, what is it, an old sock and a gag right across the face just to end up keeping him quiet. Not that the screaming will help. It's not like you can hear from the outside. Urien made sure with all the blankets hanging from the rafters. Still, does not want to attract unneeded attention. Urien sure to lock up and using sight on, or heightened senses, not heightened senses, sense the unseen, and observing his van to double check it before he starts. The usual routines.
As with every other night, the van is clean. Nothing in the vicinity that seems to be stalking around, seen or unseen. Carlos simply looks at you both like he is on the verge of famished. He looks very close to that look that you both know very well, in that he basically looks like he could eat anything at this moment. He seems also disconcerted with himself with how much he's producing that look when he becomes aware of it.
Don't worry. Co-worker, girlfriend, boyfriend, wife, mother, cousin. It all goes down the same, Carlos. It all goes down the same.
For reference, are we bringing him with us?
Nope.
He stays in the basement.
That's what he is. He's a forever basement dweller.
Our dirty secret.
When I feel ready to release him, when his purpose is served.
And so, after checking up on Carlos and making sure that he is secure in the basement for the time being, you make your way out the door. Where do you both plan on going?
He hands the card over to Benji. Your call. Work. Home. Scour the evening. This is your show.
On his card, does it have pertinent information such as his home address?
On his ID, you would see a home address listed, and If you wanted to, you could pull out your phone and use Google Maps to be able to search for it. He. It seems to be that he lives, or lived, as a mortal, on the north side of town. Oh, actually, probably closer to the south side of town, on the other side of I-10, where Jameson's domain starts. And so, knowing that address and knowing that he also works as the head of security, actually, at the UT Health Science Center, his work ID card states that very clearly with his photo, and so you would think, being the head of security, he would know just about everyone in that security department. It's just a matter of who.
Well, we got his home address. I think it'd be a better option to start there. See if he has anyone living with him. And if not, if he has any, I don't know, documents, photos, something to show that he's got some friends. Not just some asshole.
If you wish. Urien starts driving. Keeping an eye out. Maybe you find something interesting on the way.
You travel through the streets. The night is fairly empty since it is really still very early in the night. Yes.
While we're at it, can Benji be specifically on the lookout for shenanigans, if there's any street fights in alleys or things like that?
Sure. Go ahead and give me a wits plus awareness. Traveling down the roads, you're kind of using the back alleys and the smaller roads going from your coterie home in the middle of the domain down towards Interstate 10 and past it. But just before you cross the underpass, or the overpass, really. Before you cross through the overpass, you do see that there is a woman who seems to be walking alone. She's kind of tall. She's pretty. Pale. Got makeup done very well. She's gorgeous, actually. Anyone looking at her would make you think that she was a vision of a goddess. What's a beautiful girl like her doing walking around in the streets at night?
Benji kind of taps on Urien's shoulder. He's like, slow down, man. Look, hold up. There's a girl out there. She's just kind of by herself.
Oh, is this a case of you being famished, or is this a case of your... What is a crude way of expressing wanting to end up loving a woman?
I don't want to fuck her, man. I just...
I was hoping for something more creative, but okay. He starts to slow down.
No, it's just, it's weird. Like, I don't know about you, But in my family, the way I grew up as a mortal, girls, last time I checked, don't typically go out at night on their own in big cities like this, parts of town like this. So I'm wondering,
Well,
maybe if we
Benji,
follow her, she'll get mugged or something. I can eat that guy.
oh, well, aren't you just a brave hero? He, he slows the vehicle down, taking a look, and he has to acknowledge the individual he sees is quite striking. Hmm. Reminds him of someone, and yet there is something that can't quite place. Still, it caught Benji's eye. Let's see what Benji can do.
Does she have anything unusual about her, specifically to Benji, aside from girl is walking alone in the streets in a weird part of town energy?
are you looking for mannerisms or just physical objects on her person that are odd?
Looking at mannerisms on her side or objects she might be carrying versus if there's anyone around that seems to be following her.
Give me a give me a wits awareness one more time. And Urien, if you want to make an intelligence plus politics, you may. Benji, you look around the vicinity. It doesn't seem that she's being followed, but she is carrying herself with a bit of an air. She she seems like she's well dressed. There's nothing around you that makes you think that someone is following her at the moment. Urian, when you look at the face of this woman, you study her a little bit. She's not someone that you recognize personally. She she seems to carry herself with an air of almost regality. She knows how to carry herself. She knows how to walk well, and judging from that, you get the sense that if you got her name, you'd know something more.
Hmm. Well, surely Benji's and their heart would threaten to beat once more as he looks upon this angel of sin. He slows the vehicle down enough, eventually stops it, enough that Benji can get out to be in walking distance. Well, don't forget, Benji. We are two creepy dead things inside of a blacked out van that is perfectly tied for kidnapping people and has a bunch of satanic bullshit scrolled into the back of the walls in the interior. This should be hilarious.
I'm afraid of what you're suggesting, but sure.
Well, I'm not suggesting anything. I'm simply letting you be aware of the situation. If I would have known this was a date night, I would have come out in my finest.
Benji just gives a weird side eye to Urien. He's confused as to what he's saying, but gets out of the vehicle anyways. Makes his way over to this individual. He calls out, "Hey, yo, ma!"
Amber, you are walking through the streets and you have a purpose in mind. You you walk intently, looking for the markings that your sire had given you information about. The upside down pentagram. You're looking for that specifically. You have spotted a couple coming down this street, and it's it's when you cross the threshold of the interstate that you realize that there is a black van that is slowing down to meet you, possibly. It's really odd that a black van would be stopping in general. You get a sneaking suspicion that there might be somebody you know in that van, and you start to get a little pensive. You stop in your tracks until a man with fairly dark skin and red hair and a leather jacket jumps out of this black van and calls out to you. What do you do?
So I'm going to stop and slowly turn towards him. Um, all of her features are exceptionally striking, but her eyes would probably be the most striking thing of all as they meet Benji's. And she kind of tilts her head in a little curiously and goes, "Can I help you, good sir? Is there something that you require of me?"
"Do you need someone to walk you home?" And Benji starts to approach her. He's trying to come off as fairly non-threatening. In all honesty, he recognizes no matter how chivalrous he's trying to be, he still comes off as a creep in this circumstance.
She kind of ponders for a moment and goes, "No, no, no, I don't need anybody to walk me home. But I suppose while you are here and being oh so offering, maybe you can help me with something."
"Sure, what you after?"
"I'm looking for something.
"That's awfully specific."
Something very specific."
"Oh?"
Have you you see, I'm an artist, you see, and I've been looking for inspiration. And one of my many associates told me of some street art that I might be able to find that may jog my inspiration."
"Sure, I guess. Is that why you're running around out right now? This part of town? You're just looking for some street art? I mean, as I don't know, that's brave, I guess, but kind of stupid too."
I mean, yes, but we cannot control where an inspiration might strike a person. You must follow the spark before it's gone, or otherwise you will lament what could have been.
That being said, ST,
Mm-hmm.
really quick, does Benji actually know where to find street art, or is it just mostly gang signs and stuff?
Predominantly in this part of town, as you've been traveling down the street, you notice that more and more you do see the individual gang signs that plague the mortal world. as you would see it now. But as far as murals and things like that, they're few and far between, and they certainly don't appear much on the west side of town. They appear more in where patrons can pay for them to be made, since graffiti is illegal after all.
You're trying to find. You say you're trying to find street art, but that's like a bit more north. What are you really out here for?
Well, street art is a very broad term, and I was told about a piece that might exist around here that incorporates something, say, an inverted pentagram, perhaps.
Benji's eyebrows raise. He's seen that. But he's not going to say anything. He kind of just peers over back to the van for just a second. And then looks back over to this lovely lady. Yeah, actually. Yeah, I do know. What you looking at it for? Here. I got a ride. We can give you a ride to where it is. Would you be down with that? Do you trust me? And Benji reaches out his hand.
She kind of she considers the vision before her for a moment before she would take his hand gently and be like, I trust you as much as I trust anyone else in this city. Lead the way.
Benji just kind of pulls her over, puts her on his arm, around his arm, linking arms together, and he starts making his way over to the van. He kind of like does a little hand gesture to have Urien put down his car door.
Urien steps out of the driver's side and starts to walk across and simply opens up the doors in a manner, lowering his head. Benji, yeah, comes in, sir.
Amber, you
Ma'am.
notice that this man is wearing robes with an inverted pentagram on the front.
This causes a smile to rise to her lips. And she looks and she goes, that is very interesting garb that you're wearing.
Ah, well, it does have a certain striking, moment or two. Miss, or do I dare presume Mrs.
Miss Dupree, if you will.
Dupree? Starts kind of taking a second to kind of go through the records in his head.
Dupree. Yes, you've heard that name before. Young, but not terribly young. If you recall correctly, her sire may be a man by the name of Ashley Sanderson. Never met the man. Toreador, you think.
Alas, Madam Sanderson, was it? I have no rose gardens to share you with. None as beautiful as the one before me.
Amber, you're not sure why it is that he knows the name Sanderson.
She just introduced herself. She never said Amber. That's the part she didn't say.
And she kind of raises a brow at Urien. She's like, that is an interesting little statement. I don't specifically recall me giving you my name.
I travel in very unusual circles, as you can imagine. Still, allow me to introduce myself. My cohort here, he refers to himself as Benji. Myself, my name is Urien Doyle. A pleasure to meet you, face to face.
And it is a pleasure to meet you as well, Mr. Doyle. Benji.
The heart is all aflutter with your presence. Still, one cannot. One can be forgiven for expressing concern when walking alone in the, especially one so fair, rose growing from concrete.
It's not the first time that I've heard voices of concern, and I'm sure it most definitely won't be the last.
Of course not. I'm sure you hear it quite frequently. So how might we be of assistance?
Well, I am. How do I put this? In the market for some new acquaintances. Friends, if you will.
You can never have too many.
Of course. They say that 90% of situations do not come down to what you know, but who.
Well, Benji, what this have you? What do you make of this one?
It's my understanding. Seems like she was looking for street art. That is, all those weird little symbols you put around town. In all honesty, it sounds like she was looking for us. So, here we are.
I do not make it myself too difficult to find. Still, fantastic eye. Might I leave you to court?
I don't like how you put that.
I have no idea what you are implying, Benji.
Amber at this point is just her smile has grown a little more at that with the way Urien put it.
I will apologize ahead of time, madame. If I were to know I was to be transporting one of your like, I would have made preparations.
Well, I mean, I can't complain too much.
But I would imagine this locale is, well, can be distressing for one such as yourself over long enough periods of time. We had errands to run, but I suppose time is on our side.
It is quite so. I mean, as you would hope. Anywho.
He kind of looks at Benji, wondering if Benji has figured it out yet. As far as I know, Benji has not figured out he's talking to another kindred.
I mean, he's kind of gotten some hints, and he's thinking maybe, but he's not certain. Benji just looks over to Urien. So, about we escort this little lady where she needs to go, provided if you would like the invitation. And he looks to Amber saying that.
Quite presumptuous. I haven't agreed to anything just yet.
That's true. I'm
And-
sorry.
It's quite alright, Benji. I said I would assist you in any capacity I could. And our dear here has been offered assistance by you, and in turn shall receive mine. If she so wishes.
I must thank you for your kindness. I gladly accept.
One who is not ungrateful for small hospitality. I like this one. So, where might we take you? I don't believe I caught your first name.
It is Amber.
Amber. If it is alright with you, given the locale, I would prefer to stay to a first name basis. After all, we are indeed friends, are we not? Or at least trying to be fast friends.
Of course. I have no issues with this.
Well, Benji, I know it would be dismissive of me to ask, but would you mind piling in the back? After all, I believe shotgun is reserved for the lady, our guest. Best seat in the house, after all.
I don't mind. I'd almost argue the back might fit me better.
To be fair, there's not much that does.
Benji goes ahead and opens up the back, climbs in, and then closes it.
Urine's kind enough to close the door behind Benji, and then offers a hand to Amber to assist her in getting into the van. It is a big step, even though he is... I imagine Amber's actually taller than Urien.
Yeah, she is relatively tall. Quite
Yeah.
tall, so.
Yeah, Urien is, like, not even 5.5 feet.
Wait. How tall is she?
Oh, given her heritage and all that.
I'm thinking if she's tall, probably 5'10", 5'11".
Yeah, about that.
You had me
I,
sweating
I,
there.
I'd say about that, and I mean that's not including any heels.
In heels, she'd be taller than Benji. Almost.
Almost.
Yeah, Benji, it's a little bit weird to be eye to eye with such a pretty woman.
He's
No, I don't bite much.
Uh, he assists Amber in the hand holding situation, closes the door, and walks to the driver's seat. Once he closes in, he looks at her and Benji. So, where might I be chaperoning you towards? A nightclub with fine drink, a private motel, a art gallery. He kind of rolls his eyes at that last one.
Oh, you two said that you had some errands. Yes?
Not one that includes you just yet. I would never force upon one's duties upon another, especially as first meet. That would be in poor taste, but ultimately it is Benji's decision. I am just the chaperone.
Oh no, you misunderstand. I ask this because if you would like, I would be willing to offer my assistance as a show of our new acquaintance. And she punctuates this with a sweet smile.
He looks to Benji. Your
Uh,
call.
My preference here is I'd rather get some drinks first, if you know what I mean, before we actually go on a date.
I would not be opposed to a drink.
Well, I suppose in a professional capacity it is best now that I introduce myself, or reintroduce myself proper. Urien Doyle, steward of Sanctuary, domain under Baron Delgado, and scholar of Clan Tremere.
My name's Benji Cortez. I work at the La Medianoche.
Urien kind of looks at you here, Benji, like, and?
And what? What? What do you want? Um, I work under Delgado's domain. Uh, Bruja.
There you go. He is still learning courtly manner, but you must forgive him. Most children do not have the luxury of receiving such an education, though I imagine yours is a little bit more thorough. Amber, would you do us the pleasure of illustrating to Benji how it is done?
Of course. I am Dame Amber Dupree. I work as a freelance model, and I do not serve under any domain as yet. But am willing to go along. And I am an artist of Clan Toreador.
That is good to see. One of the roses able to walk a mountain. But still, a fashion model, that must Perhaps that is why Benji's eye was caught drawn to you. Perhaps he has seen your visage in magazines. I do apologize, I am not heavy into reading fashion.
Maybe he has. I would not doubt it.
Now, as far as feeding goes, mm, he kind of looks to Benji and looks to Amber. Like he's trying to judge a place that might be more suitable. And he'll drive to end up making their acquaintance as best he can in Sanctuary.
Okay. So you kind of take a couple of turns to turn back into your domain for the time being to seek out vessels from which to drink that would be appropriate to everyone's taste, possibly.
I
So,
imagine. Oh, go ahead.
how are we planning on going about this?
I say whoever has the higher wits awareness score, and then I'll put in a +1 for my assistance.
That is not me.
No.
I am pretty sure that would be Benji.
Really?
Yes.
Alright.
So I would end up looking for a place where our dear Rose would not be so uncomfortable.
So, Amber, talking with these fellas for just a moment, what kind of aesthetic pleases you the most?
Aesthetic. Always always an important thing. I would say the aesthetics that please me the most, of course, she prefers high life, the beautiful people, as it were. Given her current nature and its unchanging way, it would be best that she feels home in people at home with people just like her.
Does
In
looking into the back of the van give you a bit of a cringe?
not in any particular fashion. It
Perhaps in that
seems a
it's hastily
little,
scrawled, but perhaps that's the limit.
yeah, hastily scrawled, but otherwise, no particular, no particular feelings one way or the other. Not like particularly excited, not particularly cringeworthy either.
Okay. Urien or Benji, I would like one of you to make a wits plus awareness plus lane.
Benji, I'm offering you lane and +1 for the assist. So
How do I add lane into that?
Just add it as a modifier.
yeah.
Okay, cool.
So just to end up helping you out on that, just remember that lane is currently 3, so you'd be adding 4 dice to it.
Yeah, 4 dice in total for added modifiers.
Okay. Benji's gonna look for a club with particularly pretty people going in and out. Might have to convince the bouncer, might not, if he can convince someone to the side.
Okay, go ahead and give me that awareness roll. Oh
I
yeah,
did.
you did. Okay, I see it now. With 3 successes, you definitely know exactly where the prettiest uh, locale for, as far as bars go, for this particular domain. It's not the best in the city, but it's the best of the domain. And so, walking towards the nightclub, it is a little bit more of a club than a bar, really. There is a bouncer at the entrance. There is the side entrances as well. And kind of giving a bit of a look around, there really only seems to be any kind of security being the bouncer and a security camera at any of the exits. Other than that, it looks pretty nice.
Does this do for you, milady? Ma'am?
She considers it for a moment and then goes, "Yes, I believe that this will do."
Cool. Well, I'm gonna see if I can get this bouncer's attention. Don't mind me, I'm just gonna push my way into line here.
Okay. Are you all getting out of the car, or is it just Benji?
I will wait until Amber leaves the vehicle. If she does not, I do not. Mostly on the fact that I don't trust anybody in my vehicle when I am not there.
That's entirely fair.
I am going to exit the vehicle.
Okay. So, Benji, you start to walk up towards the front door. Amber, are you following?
Yes, I will follow Benji.
Okay. And just a few paces behind, Amber also walks with you. Her poise and posture very, very glamorous and beautiful, almost as if she's walking across a runway. And when you do approach and the light starts to shine on her in particular, Benji, you start to notice that uh, when you start to approach, people start to look behind you and start to whisper.
Benji, um, Benji tries to keep to his script here. As curious as he is, he pushes his way into line, and then he basically just kind of shoves some people out of the way and opens up space for Amber. And he's like dead ass cutting in line, throwing his weight around, and everyone out in the crowd complaining. He just snaps a glare at them.
Okay, and
And
they do.
more than sorry, more than anything, he's trying to get the bouncer's attention to come and intervene in line.
So you push your way into the line, and people do start to put up a bit of a fit. But then, when they realize that there is this beautiful woman that they've seen photos of, she's kind of famous. She's kind of famous on Instagram. She's been in a couple of magazines, and you start to realize that she might actually be a bit of a famous figure. And right now, you, as the person who is walking ahead of her, are seeming very much at this point like you're her bodyguard, and the people start to let you cut in. What is she doing at this club? They start to whisper.
Hmm. What indeed?
Urien, are you following behind, or are you staying by the car?
I will follow in. I place a coat over myself in order to not attract too much attention, though. I'm pretty sure between Benji and Ember, I'd seem relatively forgettable.
this this 5.5 foot tall, fairly short blonde man walking around with a coat in the middle of summer, trying to look all nonchalant. You don't seem to catch any eyes. Seems like they're on her.
And doesn't it feel good?
Doesn't it feel good indeed? So the three of you eventually catch up to one another in line, and the the crowd around you almost looks like as if they're surreptitiously wanting to capture photos.
Urien tries to end up staying out of the way of the photos. He'd rather not be caught in the background of it all. Though allow Amber her moment in the spotlight, this should be amusing.
If they're wishing to try and capture photos, Amber will play to the crowd a little, as it were.
The night light seems to make you glitter in a very beautiful fashion, and the crowd seems to be eating it up. As terrible as the lighting is out here, anyway.
Well, I mean, that's the thing about looking good. You can make any light work for you if you work hard enough.
And so eventually the line does disappear into the club, and the bouncer gives you all a once over as far as looking you over and requesting identification from each of you.
Yeah. And I don't.
I don't need identification. Benji looks straight in the face of the bouncer. He's squaring him up. He's got his chest puffed out up at this guy. You're just gonna let us in.
Bruh, I need to know whether you're 21 up. It's my
I'm
job.
21. I'm 21.
I don't
You seen
give a
you
fuck
seen her
what
in
you look
magazines?
like. This is my job, bro.
What are you gonna do about
I
it?
can vouch for him. And she smiles at him very, very sweetly.
Amber, I would like you to make a charisma plus persuasion plus your looks merit,
What's my looks merit?
which is a +2, I believe, to charisma rolls.
Yes, it is. Would I also have awe for that?
Only if you declare it before I make the roll.
Yeah, I'll use awe.
Okay, so go ahead and add your presence as well.
Yep. So that'll be persuasion and charisma and the modifier. That many?
This bouncer is like putty in your fingers. You give him a little bit of, that little bit of fan service that people tend to expect when you're doting on them. This man just kind of melts and looks at you, and then looks back at Benji, then back at you for a long period of time, and then back at Benji. Alright. But just this once, okay?
Why, thank you. You're a dear.
I mean, it's not every day we get an Instagram model.
Well, I
And
mean, I may come back if the service is like this.
he simply nods at you and lets Benji pass. And Urien, if he's not
Just walking in with the crowd.
he's not paying attention to you right now. He is paying attention to her, and the both of you definitely feel that draw of your own eyes to her.
I will admit there is a small part of me that smiles, mostly at observing someone do their job exceedingly well.
Do you continue to have awe open, or use awe as you're walking into the main floor of the club, Amber?
No.
Do you let it drop so that eyes don't follow you nearly as hard?
Yep.
Okay.
They can linger for a little, but not too long.
All right. So you release that gift that your blood allows you when it comes to your presence, and all three of you walk into the main dance floor. The music is fairly loud. It's a mixture of dubstep and EDM. It is certainly boppin', as the kids would say these days. And the crowd doesn't seem to pay attention to you unless you draw your attention to yourself. So what do you all plan to do?
Well, considering we are here and they are busy, I would suggest we use this time to scope out what is
Just
around.
testing. Did everybody else go mute, or is it just me?
I hear you.
Yeah, I hear. Yeah.
Are you good? Are you good, Derek?
Are we?
Right? Okay.
Okay, what was being said? So I was like, what? Why did it just go mute?
Considering that we are here right now and the eyes are not on me, we should take this opportunity to scope out what's around.
Now, with it being as tight quarters as it is are any of you using Blush of Life?
I unfortunately will. I do not risk anything when it comes to the masquerade.
Anyone who
will be,
wishes
yes.
to? Yes, please roll the rouse for it, please. Urien, that vitae coursing through your veins to bring life to your skin, to bring a slight beat to your heart, definitely makes that itch in the back of your stomach really want something for dinner tonight.
What would I roll for this?
This
Just
is
rouse?
a rouse, yes.
Yeah.
But Amber and Benji seem to be in a bit more command of the beast, as they also bring life to their dead flesh. And the three of you blend in normally, as one would if they were alive, when it comes to the touch of skin.
Well, I'm gonna go scout out the bar, see what I can get a vantage on from there.
Okay.
Spenji goes and does that, and he's gonna start looking specifically, again, for troublemaking. He has these convictions, so he's gotta stick to them.
Looking for a troublemaker.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Then since this is not your scene, really, you can make... I would say you can make a manipulation plus subterfuge to kind of not really incite a fight, but not be willing to back down from one if one starts. Manipulation plus subterfuge, the difficulty is going to increase by 1 for a regular feeding roll. Oof.
Can I spend some willpower on that?
You don't have any regular dice. You only have hunger dice in your roll, so you can't spend willpower to re-roll.
All right.
Strangely enough, this scene not being the usual crowd, really. There's plenty of people getting close. There's plenty of people getting sweaty. There's plenty of people around, but there's not really an opportunity for you to... You don't really see anyone starting shit, and you don't really see anyone alone to make this a very subtle experience. It just feels weird. It's just not your scene.
Not about it. Benji's feeling a little overwhelmed, a little hungry, a little agitated.
Amber, are you intending to feed at all? Or are you feeling fairly satisfied right now? Just want to absorb the scene?
Feeling satisfied. Sit and absorb. Enjoy.
Okay. And Urien, what are you doing?
I am currently looking for potentially other kindred. Others that may be hunting in this particular location. Those who may be hunting inside this domain without request, without offer. It is my duty after all. Though I cannot help but look back to Ember. Every part of me thinks on how delicious she must be. And yet, do not believe I would. She has shown me kindness and respect. A courtesy I have not felt in a little while with the young ones. So, my kindness in turn is not to tax her. Just yet.
Alright. So just doing what you can to enjoy the scene for the moment.
Looking around. Go ahead.
If any kindred were smart, they would be utilizing the same kind of gifts of the blood to blend in. I would like you to make me a resolve plus insight. See if you can spot someone who's looking
Does Lane also fall into this?
No, you're not information gathering. You are just reading the people of this scene. So looking around, you look back and forth over the dance floor, maybe kind of take a bit of a wallflower stance. This is a loud scene. You don't strike me as a person who enjoys loud scenes for the most part. You're You're looking for that predatory stare. That inner beast just reaching the surface just long enough to spot other prey. Perhaps even taunting that look yourself for a moment. But you quickly snap it back and come back to yourself after a little while and realize that for as lively as this place is, doesn't seem like there are any predators tonight.
More's the pity. Still, I will keep myself in confidence and simply observe. I'm looking towards Benji and Ember, trying to assess what it is that they are looking for in a vassal.
I'm gonna try another method.
Alright.
I'm not letting this night go to waste. Benji waits for probably about 30 minutes sitting by the bar. He's peering over at all the drinks passing to and fro, and more specifically, he's watching what happens to the women's drinks and who does what with them.
Okay.
The moment he catches someone dropping something unmentionable in someone else's drink, he's gonna take them to the restroom with him.
Okay. So you're also looking for predators of another nature. Roll me a... Roll me a wits plus awareness. Or resolve, your choice. Okay. Looking around the bar, you spot a few people who are... You spot a few gentlemen who are getting a little cozy with some of the ladies in the bar, in the dance floor and at the bar. The bar is a little quieter than the dance floor is, that's for sure. But you do notice that people still have to get close in order to kind of yell in each other's ear in order to be heard. You get a sneaking suspicion that someone might have dropped something, but you're not 100% positive. But that might be enough.
Did he see who?
It was a gentleman who looked like he was trying to cozy up to a young woman who didn't seem to be all that interested. Got really close, kind of sipping his own drink, letting her sip hers. When hers is down and his is down, and they both kind of look out into the dance floor, you kind of see a little bit of a sneak.
Benji decides that'll do.
All right.
And he goes up to confront this individual. Kind of in the middle of the dance floor, kind of shuffles him in there. Tells the guy, yelling, but also just only within a range that only this guy can hear, more or less. It's just like, you think you're a goddamn sneak? You think you're gonna get away with that?
What the fuck, man? What are you on about? I don't even know who the fuck you are. Who the fuck do you think you are?
I saw what you did, throwing shit in that girl's drink.
Man, you don't know shit. Man, what are you doing accusing me of that? That's such bullshit. Get the fuck away from me.
Can I roll insight on that?
Go for it. roll that with wits.
Okay, I was about to ask.
Yeah. Do you have any specialties for insight?
um, no. Benji knows how to fake a throw, but he doesn't know
Okay.
other people faking it.
Okay. Okay. Looking at this person, you definitely know he's up to something. You're not sure if it was exactly something that was going into the drink, but you know that this guy's being a sneak. He definitely wants to get laid tonight.
Benji's gonna shove him. He's gonna try and instigate a fight, yelling out, um, just within earshot of this guy, like, "You think you're tough, big guy? You think you can? You think you can do what you want?"
And are you trying to throw this guy over the bar, or are you just trying to shove him gently?
It's a gentle shove. I'm not trying to throw this guy into the void.
Okay. Then roll me a manipulation plus athletics or performance with your feint.
Would it be performance athletics?
It would be manipulation athletics
Manipulate. Okay.
or manipulation performance.
And then feint is a +1.
Yep.
Boop. Haha.
And he is going to attempt to shove you back. But it seems that your feint didn't land nearly as well as you thought it did, and he kind of dodges a little bit out of the way and kind of shoves you back. Get the fuck away from me. Go away. What the fuck business is this of yours anyway? And the girl just seems to be walking away at this point.
Good.
What the fuck?
Benji gets in this guy's face and he's like, "You have a fucking problem? You fucking creep. Take it out back with me."
You're the one who's got a fucking problem. And you see that the bartender's starting to come over because he sees that you two shoving each other and is attempting to break the commotion up. What do you do?
He looks over to the bartender and he just says, "I saw this guy fucking throw shit in girls' drinks. He's trying to be a goddamn creep. He's creeping on all the women over here."
Why don't both of you get the fuck out?
And he looks over to this guy and Benji gives this guy this look like, "Fucking fight me." Not at the bartender telling him to get out, but at the creep. "I think I will," he says to the bartender.
Urien is walking between them. As he does so, he thinks he understands what's going on. And he needs a drink to blend in, so as he's passing on, he just kind of looks towards these two brutish individuals and first looks at Benji, then looks at the other, and whatever his name is, and simply ends up saying, "Take it outside."
Alright, so Benji, this is the first time that you've seen something like this. It looks as if the man's just like, he stops for a minute and thinks and just starts to walk out.
Urien just walks on by like nothing happened.
Can Benji tell that Urien did a thing?
Roll me a wits plus occult.
Okay.
Amber, in all of this commotion, what are you doing?
Um, I imagine I would on the dance floor. It's kind of a bit of a it wrecks the homogeneity of people grinding up against each other as people do in clubs. And she can't help but give the slightest hint of a smile to herself at what it is that she sees. And we'll stand and approach the uh the bartender.
He definitely seems disgruntled, and as soon as his eyes kind of lay on you, he just asks you if he can get you something to drink.
No, I am fine to pace myself.
And
I
go ahead.
I must apologize for my bodyguard. He can be a little forward sometimes,
As long as he
but
gets
he
the
needs help.
fuck out and stops making trouble around here, we don't need his goddamn pushy business.
I couldn't agree more. And she gives him a sweet little smile.
And he'll continue to entertain a conversation as long as you want.
Yeah, entertain with some small talk. You know, isn't the usual club scene I go around. You know, who's the who that shows up, things like that.
Perfect.
Well, I tend to see a lot. they see a hell of a lot. So you know, any information is good information.
Okay. Then, if you're fishing for things, then make me a. Oh, what would be an appropriate skill? Let's take a look here. Oh, what? Okay, hang on. Let's do. Charisma leadership, and let's see if he can. Uh, let's see how much information of the mortal world he's willing to give away. In the meantime, Benji, you have been asked to leave, and your fighting partner seems to have gone and made an exit himself.
Hmm. That is low.
My
It's rock
previous
hard.
role
Mm-hmm.
came up at the little 2.
Yes, and so you know a little bit about the different kinds of things what Kindred called disciplines, and you have seen a couple of times that Isabella has done things. You're not entirely sure what exactly, but for some reason she is able to melt people like putty with the command. Very similar to the way that guy walked out, really.
Hmm.
She's only
He
used it
takes
a couple times in front of you, but
does sort of a mischievous yet somewhat grateful glance at Urien as they pass each other, and he walks out after his sparring partner for this evening
perfect.
and tries to meet him up in the alley.
Amber, it seems like your bartender friend really doesn't have a whole lot in the way of juicy information to spread.
That's a shame. It's of no major importance, but that is fine.
So, Benji, you walk out of the club following your quarry, what do you intend to do?
Benji grabs him by the arm and basically pulls him into dark alley. As he's passing by the street, he makes sure no one is actually necessarily watching and or going to pay attention. And if they do, he's going to activate his own special scare power. I forgot what it was called.
Okay. So, there. Are you going directly behind the club, or are you walking away with him for a little bit?
Gonna be walking away with him for a sec, and all the while just instigating, calling this guy stupid fucking pervert, gross piece of shit, molester, and all kinds of shit.
He's definitely arguing with you and definitely going in for shoves as you're pulling him away or trying to pull his arm out of your grip. Are
Grapple
you
roll.
All right, go ahead and make me a. Now, are you intending to keep your iron grip on him, or are you trying to feint?
Just keep the guy in his grasp without breaking his fucking wrist.
Okay.
It's delicate. It's like it's like a golden retriever trying to hold an egg in its mouth.
Then I would say, since this is under pressure and he is actively fighting you, instead of charisma or manipulation, it's going to be a composure plus athletics. And he will oppose you to try and get away.
Do I get any additionals on that?
Not unless you have an additional to athletics.
Nope. Just a flat roll then. What?
Yeah, this guy, there's no doubt, this guy is not getting away from your grip. He has, and you're able to control the amount of strength in your hand to be able to keep him, because you've been frustrated all night. You really just want to rip into this guy's throat sometimes, but you're able to keep your cool. You're able to keep your grip without breaking anything. You have him solidly, but not harmfully in this moment. And so you drag him down the sidewalk into a bit of a smaller road, which leads into another alley. And luckily, there's no one here at the moment. So he is actively going to try and get away from you again.
Benji is gonna slam him into the wall and pin him, and then he's gonna throw on Daunt. How do I roll against on this?
That one I want as a strength athletics.
Aye, aye, Captain.
So that is a messy crit. Benji.
Did I break this guy?
Benji, you have him by the arm, but you are frustrated. You are sick of this guy's shit. You're sick of everyone's shit right now. You immediately take your other hand, place it on his neck, and lift him into the air and press him up against that brick wall as hard as you can for a moment, then realizing from when you snap back that you have hurt this man. You have hurt him.
Did I break his neck?
Doesn't look like it. He's still squirming and he's still moving, but he is hurt. You can hear that his windpipe sounds like he's having a hard time breathing. A very hard time breathing, actually.
Whoops. Well, that being said, Benji puts him down and activating Daunt, he goes into the most intimidating form he can. He says, "You're probably not going to remember this tomorrow, but if you do, I hope you know, next time you consider sneaking shit into girls' drinks, consider someone else is sneaking into yours." And then he's gonna bite him.
His eyes lock with yours as you speak to him. His 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 throat not able to really catch his breath. He looks like he's going to collapse to his knees, but then you wrap your arms around him and take him from behind. You sink your fangs into his neck and you drink. How much are you taking from him?
I want to take.
And what is
How
your
much
hunger
would-
level? 4?
Yeah. How much would 3 dots be? Would that kill this man?
3 dots. Three hunger. You are risking putting this person into a deathly state, and that if they don't get medical attention very quickly, they will die. You are already seeing that this man is having a hard time breathing, but I want you to make a frenzy roll.
Oh shit.
Difficulty 3.
Do I use all my willpower or just like?
You enter your willpower, your current unspent willpower,
Okay.
which you may be at full right now, and
I
then
think I only have 3 total.
and I do realize that your sheet has your humanity wrong, because
yeah,
I
it'd
didn't
be-
actually fix that. So you're supposed to be at humanity 7.
Oh, was I?
Yeah.
Okay.
So
Cool.
go ahead and cancel out of that and fix your humanity, and then you're gonna put in that humanity box your humanity score.
Okay. All right. So 3 willpower. Boop. For everyone to know, humanity 7. Boop. Boop. Modifiers yea or nay?
Nope.
Nope. Straight
You
roll.
are alone. Ooh. Crushed it. You're able to keep yourself under control. You know that if you take too much, you will kill this man.
Okay.
He's already having a hard time breathing. He's already probably going to need medical attention.
Yeah. If he's already gonna need medical attention, doesn't make a difference. So he's just gonna take the 3, and then he's gonna get into this guy's pockets, grab a phone, and just dial 911 on it,
Okay.
and immediately hang up.
So let's go back to Urien and Amber for a moment. Benji has walked out with his quarry, you assume. Do you wait for him to come back, or do you go out to find him after a little while?
I am more concerned with Emperor at this point. It was Benji's concern, so it is now mine.
Alright.
Amber seems completely fine at the moment. However, after a little, kind of lean down and speak in a way that only he would be able to hear. We should make sure that he is okay.
Derek.
Oh, you might be muted.
Oh, yes, I am. Well, right now, Urien is most concerned with making sure Amber is fed before we end up leaving here.
Yeah, as far as Amber looks, she looks completely and totally fine.
Yet you were the one that suggested we get the drink. Or you were it was suggested that we go and get the drink. Urien does not seem to be hunting at this particular moment, or at least not in the way that you and Benji seem to.
She, you would have seen that. Yeah, she did. She did take a look around. She's like, I did survey, but nothing in particular caught my eye.
Nothing in particular. I guess with one of your talents, it would be you can choose to be picky. You could literally have anyone here you wished for. Anyone you wanted. And they want you, certainly.
Oh, I am well aware. But right now, as weird as this may sound, my concern is not with myself.
Oh. Is that sympathy for the devil that I hear?
Sympathy for the devil.
That's
That
what
is one.
many would.
That is one way you could put it.
Oh. Now what would give you... What would make you have such sympathies for me?
I will leave it at I have my reasons. And if we remain friends, you may find out what those reasons are.
Well... Telling. But... I did end up offering. And I did not simply reject your friendly nature out of turn. I think that would warrant something. You don't seem petty enough to end up rejecting a host of any sort.
No, on that I suppose you are right.
So, what is it that makes you so concerned?
I have some things that I wish to do, some goals that I wish to achieve.
I
As
am but a,
everyone. As
I
everyone
am,
does.
I'm sure. Aspiration can lead to giddy heights. Though I am but a humble servant in the turf that is under Del Capo. So, uh, how would I assist in these ambitions of yours?
Well, I am someone in need of advice, I suppose. The way is one way to put it. To begin,
Over
it's a
what?
long road that I walk.
Is that not true for all of us?
Hmm. What?
You, however, I have to admit, don't strike me as the type, the normal rebel I tend to associate with. It's quite refreshing, dear Amber. He kind of leans into her. The scent of a woman. Quite beautiful. It is not just the roses I can appreciate.
Amber, it's about that moment, as you're kind of peering out into the dance floor, that a face catches your eye.
Hmm.
One you have not been looking forward to seeing. That one Bobby Brown who just will not leave you alone.
She she spots him, and her eyes narrow. She leans down to Urien to make sure that she can hear, and she will very subtly point out the that one Bobby Brown that she did not want to see. Yes, I could take him for example. He is quite something that I would very much like to get rid of. A thorn, if you will.
I imagine that could be arranged quite easily. I guess the question then comes down to why not do it yourself? You may appear to be a wonderful blooming flower, but you and I both know that thorns are longer and sharper with your sword. So why have you not taken care of him?
Because there have been a number like him that each time that I seem to get rid of one, another shows up. Always there, always pricking me in the wrong. And as much as I could get rid of him, I must admit I do not have the ability to send enough of a message in physical sense.
Well, I suppose you could ask Benji. Benji seems to be raring to go.
I think that's actually a wonderful idea. Urien, if I may call you Urien.
Of course. Of
Shall
course.
shall we go and see him?
Well, I am merely a chaperone. However, I'm sure you can do much more if you wished. It would take a small amount of time investment for some games that I think you would appreciate. Still,
Hmm.
that is longer said. Please, let us exit out the evening. if you are not so famished. Urien takes his drink that he has been nursing. He's been spilling a little bit as he's getting bumped into the dance floor, so he's not carrying a full drink, so it's clear he's probably been drinking.
Mhm.
But he continues to end up going, whether Amber follows or not, starts to walk outside.
Yep. And Amber will follow.
And it's just as the two of you exit that you overhear that Bobby Brown is shouting towards you a little bit, Amber, but do you plan to pay him any mind?
Bobby Brown? What Bobby Brown? I don't hear no Bobby Brown.
Then the both of you exit the club. He seems to be lost in the crowd.
Tell me, how much experience do you have with the gifts? You seem to be, well, able to use at least one of them.
I've been around the block a few times.
So, has it ever occurred to you to simply bind him?
I have thought about it, but the
You
issue
can
with that,
either do that or kill him.
I'm thinking the latter. I did think about the former. He has nothing to offer. He is simply a body and thing. I prefer to be a little more,
Tasteful.
yes, tasteful. I was going to use selective, but tasteful is a better word. Thank
I have been around the block once or twice myself. And as I do not mean to stereotype, but there are certain select ways you approach individuals due to their upbringing. Only to be respectful, of course.
Of course.
So, he starts walking towards the van, figuring Benji will be around pretty soon. Let me ask, you wished for guidance.
Yes, guidance.
That comes with a price, dear Amber. As much as we may be friends, you do know that that is what I do for younger fledglings. For licks of all stripes.
Of course, nothing in this existence, life or otherwise, comes for free.
Yes. So, outside of being a wonderful wall ornament, what exactly is your beautiful tone offering?
It's at that moment I want you both to make me a wits plus awareness, please.
Hmm.
Continue.
Hmm. I there are many things that I can offer. I am one who has access to resources of various kinds for a start.
That can certainly be useful. The concern is you have a public image to maintain.
I
That
do.
is that is difficult. Have you considered how to get out of that? Do you intend to stay in San Antonio for quite some time? Be the mysterious recluse who just wallows in her mansion. Give it a few decades and let everybody forget. Pass yourself off as your own daughter.
I did think about that for a little while, but the slow life is not the kind of place for me.
Live fast and die young.
I'd like to live at a moderate pace. The slow life is not for me, but the fast life, well, as you said, live fast, die young.
Well, take a cue from Benji. He gets in the car. He gets in the van, waiting, obviously opening up the door for Amber, and kind of starts the car to keep it ready to roll whenever, but waits. So,
She'll hop in with him.
And as the two of you are waiting for a moment, Benji, I would like you to make me a wits plus awareness now, please.
Aye aye.
The faintest of sirens.
Good.
You can barely hear it over the sound of the club, but you're far enough away that the sounds aren't muffling it just yet.
Alright.
But
He's gonna...
this guy is
Go ahead.
passed out on the ground.
Alright. Really quickly, Benji is gonna prop him up against the wall so that he's sitting, more or less, somewhat supported.
Make me a wits plus medicine.
Don't expect anything special. Oh.
Looking him up and down. He's passed out. He's not breathing. You can tell that much for sure. Did you kill him? You're not sure if you killed him.
Oh, not breathing.
You look at his throat and it looks pretty crushed.
Okay, well, Benji's short on time.
And you can hear the sirens getting closer.
Okay. He's just gonna... He's gonna walk away from the scene in a very roundabout way so that it's not an easy trace back to him.
Okay.
I'm gonna say he's gonna walk back to the vehicle, but he's gonna walk around the block to do so.
Okay.
And he's gonna make sure he's not necessarily seen and exiting the alleyway.
Okay. Then I would like you to make a dexterity or composure plus stealth, your choice.
Okay.
If you're using dexterity, you're kind of just sneaking around, like hunkering down. Composure is you're trying to blend in.
There's no easy way around this. Can I use willpower on that?
You can use
Since I
willpower
forgot.
on that one,
Okay.
or I can let you succeed. Well, actually, you have. I'm going to use Derek's rule. You have a compulsion in there if you do not succeed.
Do I?
Yep, because you have a 1 in your hunger dice.
If I may,
Mm-hmm.
you can only offer succeed at a cost if there's at least one success
Yeah.
somewhere in the roll.
So I just fail and also am compulsed.
There's a compulsion here.
There is a compulsion. So I would like you to roll a d10, please.
Okay. What could I put in the chat for that?
Slash roll d10. 1d10.
Are you sure it's that?
Slash roll space
Forward or
1d10.
forward or backslash?
The forward slash.
Hi, I don't know how to use this program.
That's
All right.
fine. I got it.
Okay.
Derek, do you know the compulsions off the top of your head?
That is hunger.
Regardless
Oh boy.
regardless
Finish
of your
the
hunger
job.
level,
Finish!
you are obsessed with that hunger in your stomach. It may be subsided small, but you're obsessing about it. That little bit that's left, you're so close to getting it to go quiet. You've been quiet before. Come on. Take the rest of it. We're hungry. Let's go.
Can't. Just
Come on.
we don't have time to train this guy. We gotta go. So Benji instead is just gonna act natural, move around, flip his hood up, and just move around the block and pretend that he was not at the scene at all.
Okay. Until you feed next, any roll that does not directly involve you getting fed one more time will be at a 2 dice penalty.
Bummer.
So you make your way as stealthily as you can, making sure that you're blending in, making sure that you're being unseen as much as you can. You make your way roundabout to the vehicle. You see that the engine is already started, and that black van, that creepy black van, you walk close to it and see that Urien and Amber are both in the front seats.
Benji just gives Urien a nod, and he motions for Urien to pop the back open.
Excuse me. Opens the door for Benji. Kind of closes it behind him. Gets back in the van. Begins to drive. Because if nothing is off, he has no idea. So, now that everybody's fed, it is getting late. Still, I suppose we can go and finish up our evening.
Errands.
Just
Yes,
need to
errands.
drop by a house.
For reference, is there actually like a button to pop the back of the van? Can it just be like headcanon that there is? And Urien just
No,
decides to-
it's a panel van. You literally have to swing the open to. You can either slide the side door open, or you can open the dual doors in the back.
I'm gonna claim child lock. Uh,
So, the three in the van have climbed in and are making their way back through the domain back to the house. That's what I heard.
Well,
Or somewhere else.
currently, we need to end up going over and see the residents on the driver's license.
Mm.
I do not quit for small sidetracks. This was a courtesy.
Obviously. And so you make
Before
your
that-
way. Okay.
Before that,
Mhm.
are we gonna have a break intermission?
We're got about half an hour left on the game, so we can take a break, or we can continue for half an hour, or we can break here for the game.
Let's break here for at least 5 minutes, please.
Okay.
Thank
We
you.
can break for the game if you want.
How's everyone else feeling?
I don't get to play enough, but if you want to break here,
I'm good to keep going.
I just
I'm
need
good.
5 minutes. That's it.
okay.
Then we will
Cool,
take
5.
a quick 5, and we will be right back. Don't go anywhere, anybody. We'll be back for another half hour or so of not Detroit, San Antonio by night.
Thanks for the plug.
All right, and we are back, everyone. Thank you so much for your patience. We are going to continue where we left off. So, the three people in the van are now making their way toward the address listed on Carlos's ID card, or his driver's license, rather. And so you make your way through the streets south of I-10 on the outside of Loop 410 and into Baron Jameson's domain. What border you presume he maintains at the moment. You drive a little further towards Military Road to an apartment complex just off of Military. It's a little run down, not terribly so. It's still livable, but one can tell the difference between the apartments of the north side of town and the apartments of the south side of town because of the plain nature of the exterior of these apartments, as well as the complete lack of landscaping care that has gone into keeping such a place. The grass is browned, the outdoor pool is full, but looks like it's a little less maintained than it should be. The exterior walls of this white apartment complex are crumbling in a few places, but not many. Just very drab. Very depressing for those who care. And so, approaching this complex, this ungated, free to roam complex, you find yourselves in a parking space, not far from the building where this apartment is meant to be.
First thing I'm looking for is cameras. Private property, am assuming security until I'm proven otherwise wrong.
Make me a wits plus awareness.
I'm willing to take time on this.
Okay.
This is not something I would rush.
Resolve as well is your choice.
Okay. Would I assume that Benji and Amber are both assisting me in this?
If you've told them what you're doing.
No. Certainly. I'm not about to risk us all for a simple errand.
Alright, then at a plus 2.
Benji's helping.
I am going to spend willpower.
For total successes, you look at all of the poles through the parking lot as you pass them by. You look to the corners of the individual buildings for the complex. You look toward the leasing office. You look toward just about every place that you suspect a camera would be, and maybe even some places you suspect they wouldn't be, and find nothing.
Very well.
You know that you, as a resident, and those of you who are native, would know that this particular side of town is known for not having the best in the way of rich folk. The impoverished tend to live here.
I am pleased. Look towards Benji and Ember. We are heading towards here. He describes the address. We are to get inside and find any particular values, especially, well, anything that could end up giving us a lead, primarily contacts, family members, preferable, friends will work, co-workers, too easy. Who knows, we might end up snagging his boss's line. Wouldn't that be interesting, Benji? He's specifically keeping it vague around Amber.
Man, that would be very interesting. I wonder if they're all just as stubborn as he is.
Not our concern. Amber, is this the first time you have done such an event?
I'm sorry I missed that.
Is this the first time you've ever done something like this?
It's the first time I've done it in such company, if that's what you're asking.
I'm liking you more and more. So, he steps out of the van and pulls out a set of keys that are not the car keys.
Amber doesn't even blink, doesn't question it.
Motherfuckers think he's swift. He keeps his keys on him. Not somewhere hidden like a car. No. That makes everything easier. I don't have to bust it.
Well, as they say, a moron is as a moron does.
I should give him credit though. Most people keep their keys on. It's just convenient for us. Cool. Let's get this done. And Benji hops out the back.
All right. Then the three of you leave the van and start to make your way toward the apartment. It's not long.
Are there any... Oh,
Go ahead.
sorry.
If you want to ask
Are there
something,
any...
go ahead.
Yeah, are there any lights on in the apartments nearby, like his immediate neighbors next to him, next to the main one?
The immediate neighbors that you see would be the upstairs and downstairs to him. So you see that the apartment that is listed is on the second floor of the building, and the windows that you see compared to the door that you're supposed to be in, the upstairs and downstairs, one of them has their lights on, the other doesn't.
Okay.
All the rooms seem to be dark in Carlos's apartment as well as his downstairs neighbor, but the upstairs neighbor seems to have a light on in the bedroom.
Okay. Good to know. Walking up to the door, Benji just looks over to Urien and just offers the doorknob to him for him to unlock.
Urien does so with Carlos's keys.
All right. The door unlocks. But you find that the deadbolt is sealed.
Sealed?
An interior deadbolt.
Well, isn't that convenient? He thinks about it for a second. He looks to Benji. Well, I would suggest us see what ends up happening here. He gives the door a quick rap. Make sure to inconveniently lean on the hip. Lean on the hip, or what is it? The peephole, if there is one.
You look inside the peephole. The front room is dark. The rooms in the interior seem to be dark. There is one door that's closed that you see on the inside, but it seems that the master bedroom is open.
No, that is strange. Well. Now, there's an interior deadbolt.
Yep, has no locking mechanism on the outside.
Benji, if you would be kind enough, all I need you to do is just push the door in heavy enough to be able to rip some screws out. Shouldn't be too difficult for you. You don't need to kick the door in and make a racket.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Alright.
Just keep the door twisted. Or door handle twisted. You switch it so this way the entire chunk doesn't come off. It's just going to be a quick rip of screws. No one should notice.
Okay. Benji gives it a strong but controlled shove.
Okay. You're strong and athletic enough that I'm not going to make you roll for it. So you push in the door, and that little bit of metal that connects the door jamb to the locking mechanism does give way, as well as the wood on the inside, and you push the door inside, and you hear a scream.
Well, walk over. I simply walk inside.
I will
Benji?
happily follow him.
You you hear the rustling of blankets. And then they go as quiet as they can.
He starts to end up walking in, goes towards the blankets, takes a look around. What are we seeing in here?
Inside the master bedroom, you don't see anything. The rustling of the blankets you heard from the door that's closed.
Hmm. Is this one of those uncomfortably mirrored lock, or, well, kind of gestures big B, if you would. Same as before.
Sure thing, Josh. Benji goes towards the door. He has this gut feeling. He's concerned it's gonna be a kid. But goes ahead, does a gentle shove on. Another controlled shove on the door, but immediately gives it a look around in the room.
You see a blanket pile. Shuddering. You hear whimpering.
What's the inside of the room look like?
A 10-year-old's room.
Well, came here for one thing.
Well, Urien takes a moment to look around. He's looking for photos. I imagine if there's photos of a child, there may be photos of the mother as well.
You look around, it doesn't seem that there's very much in the way of photos. You get the sense that today's day and age, many people who store photos on their phones. Don't necessarily hang them up anymore.
And yet, he does not keep any information on the burner, and we didn't find another cell phone on him, so this would imply the cell phone may be here.
Okay. Then if you're looking...
I'm doing this very quick. It's looking for valuables, looking for technology, looking for whatever. This is going to be a robbery.
Okay. Then roll me a wits plus larceny.
Wits plus larceny. That's a straight wits roll. Hey, one success. I end up finding I found something.
You found in the child's room. You see that there is a phone next to the child's bed.
I take it very quickly as he looks Bigby. You came here for something. It seems to be under there. Deal with it.
No, please don't hurt me.
He turns. You will be silent, and you will go with the large man, and then remain silent until I arrive.
Benji kneels down at the door's entrance. Hey kid, you want to see Carlos?
When the kid looks to you, Benji, it's almost as if she is looking past you. and simply just walks to you, leaving the covers on the bed, walks to you, and then snaps back like they weren't aware that they were doing something, and then just kind of looks at you and screams.
Um, didn't it didn't stick?
Well, you said be quiet and walk to the big man. They went quiet, walked
I
to the
said
big man.
follow the big man.
Oh, sorry, I missed that part.
It's okay. All right. Don't. That's my fault. Be quiet until I arrive.
And they just stare at you blank faced, Benji.
Well,
Her hair's tousled, black hair. Kind of short for a 10-year-old.
he just. Benji just sort of ruffles the kid's hair, stands up, begins walking out the door.
There is no reaction to the kid. She
But they're
simply
following
follows
him.
you.
Yep.
She simply follows you.
Benji looks over to Urien.
He seems to be completely dismissive of this. Seems to be more interested in what else is in the house or in the apartment real quick.
I'd like to help him search.
Okay. Then Amber, also roll me a wits plus larceny.
Yep, that's gonna be just wits for me too.
Mhm.
Ho! Let's see if I can't find something. I'll do a
A willpower?
Spend the willpower.
Yeah, we'll spend a willpower. There we go.
Okay. So you're able to pick up on the obvious thing in the master bedroom. There seems to be a phone charger plugged in. But you don't see the phone. You look around and it looks like there might be a couple of things that might be worth taking as far as like monetary value. The TV might be worth something. You're not entirely sure what you're looking for. You're looking for the phone, but
That's the one I already found, I'm assuming.
you found the kid's phone.
Okay. Close enough.
I'll turn to Urien and be like, there is a phone charger in here, but phone.
I suppose you need to grab that. Might be needed. And he starts walking out. Maybe Liv just grabs the loose change at the start of the door, or whatever the hell else it is. Just grab it, start walking out. Very, very quick, very, very simple, and it's a poor apartment building. Nobody gives a shit when a child cries outside of it. Hopefully they shut up quick.
Do you leave the door or do you just close it behind you?
I just close it behind me.
Alright.
I'll even go so far as to actually flick off the deadbolt, and I'll lock up behind.
Alright.
So yeah, I'll grab the phone charger. If there's anything of monetary value that I can carry in like one hand, because I'm not gonna go so far as to try and unplug the TV, I'll grab that and I'll follow Yuri.
Alright.
Yeah.
So you grab some
Yeah.
loose change, some dollar bills that were on the nightstand, or on the nightstand there would have been some money, and at the front door there would have been a little bit of more money.
Yeah.
Dollar bills are dollar bills.
Yeah. It's at this point he gets to the van. Benji's probably there. I hope. Benji, how you feeling? Kidnapping a little girl, you big son of a gun, you.
Um, I'm gonna say before Benji left, he grabbed a small blanket from off the bed. The girl's bed. Um, he has her wrapped up in the vehicle with him in the back seat, and he's just like, he seems overwhelmed.
And she is just staring blankly at the floor of the the van right now.
Honestly, this is fucked. Like, people, one thing, yeah, sure, I probably killed a man today. Okay, but a kid. Ugh, God. Well, Carlos is gonna learn. He's gonna learn. He's gonna learn. I just. Oh, I don't want to hurt the kid, Urien. If we can avoid it.
Urien steps in, towards the van. As soon as he locks eyes with the child, remain quiet and unlock this phone.
The child kind of locks eyes with you for a minute and takes the phone, punches in an unlock code, and hands it back. And kind of just looks like they're about to wake up.
Stay still and quiet while I drive. Ladies and gentlemen, might I suggest you be very selective about the language you use in front of children. He starts looking through the phone, and he's just reading whatever messages, texts, all this kind of stuff.
You see several outbound texts at the top of the list.
All going towards
Carlos. When are you coming home? Daddy, I'm scared. You're not answering me. Why aren't you answering me? You see that there's a couple of phone calls to a specific number at the top of the call list. It's labeled as Mom. You get the sense that maybe the mom doesn't live at home.
The mother does not live at home, and the father does not live. Curious case.
And you see that the call to the mother was no more than 10 minutes ago.
Fantastic. He goes over and once he's taken the information he could, he takes out the SIM card, snaps the phone, and just starts driving.
But that was mine.
You don't need it anymore. He hucks it out the window, SIM card later, making sure they're very separate.
Where's... What... Who are you?
That depends on how Carlos reacts.
Where's my dad?
I'm going to take you to see him.
Who are... You hear that the child's about to hyperventilate from behind you, and Benji, you can see that she's getting very, very, very worked up. Tears falling down her eyes. She is absolutely scared. She is shuddering.
Benji taps on Amber's shoulder. I know how to take care of kids, but I can't necessarily calm them down anymore.
And Amber just turns to Benji with a smile and turns to the little girl. And she says, "It's okay. There's no need to be scared. As as the man said, if we are going to take you, I'm sure he'll be happy to see you."
Why didn't he come home? Why?
I don't know, but we do know where he is, and I'm sure he's very concerned for you.
I just
I
want to go home to
am.
my mom.
Uh, I suppose that might be a interesting case. So, at this point, go ahead.
Oh no, no, I'll let you go.
No more questions. Keep your eyes to the floor.
And
If I,
she just kind of darts her eyes around for a second and then complies, just kind of wrapping her hands around her head and her ears, kind of keeping her personal space to herself, kind of rocking back and forth a little bit.
Benji pulls the blanket he brought, puts it over her shoulders and her head, comfortingly.
You hear her softly say, "Please don't touch me."
Alright.
And that, I think, is where we're going to end the session for tonight.
How dare you?
well, my desire is fulfilled.
What?
Get leverage on Carlos.
Uh, that's true. That's true.
GG. Also, Benji.
Hmm?
High or low?
Hmm? We're gonna go high.
You will not be taking a stain.
Oh, thank God.
You do not know what happened to that man. But your conscience can remain clear knowing that the authorities were on their way.
You got him help. It's fine. He's not
Yeah.
gonna die, probably.
Close enough for government work. He's fine. Besides,
just
even
got-
that, he's a pervert.
just got
Who cares?
Kicked in the throat really hard. That's all that happened.
And lost about a
Well.
pint or two of blood.
Yep.
Hopefully, I
Benji,
convinced him.
you're sick. This is a very sick plan of yours.
Excuse you.
It was Benji's plan.
Oh no.
So let's give out some experience,
You-
y'all.
You made a deal with the devil,
Mm-hmm.
Oh well.
and once you pull that trigger, it is not stopping. The bullet is in mid-flight.
Mm-hmm.
This is true.
Mm-hmm.
It's okay. I'm okay with this becoming a dumpster fire really quick.
Oh, it's not going to be a dumpster fire. It's only going to be a dumpster fire when you got to bury the body.
No.
So, everybody gets one experience for showing up today. Welcome, Lethality Complex, our new cast member who is playing Amber.
Lethality, I love Amber. I need you more.
I'm glad that you guys love Amber. I love her too.
I'm looking forward to seeing how this fleshes out. Because I'm like, Amber's not trying to console this child. Yeah, not a lot of maternal instinct in that one.
She didn't
Also-
have a lot of time to develop it.
Those of you in the audience who haven't given them a follow, please go follow the Gathering of Nerds. They play D&D on Tuesday nights for early Wednesday mornings for us
They
US
play
people.
at stupid o'clock.
They play at stupid o'clock on Wednesday mornings for us in the United States, but are fairly stream in the afternoon in Australia, so go watch them. Also
6 p.m.
follow
Australian Standard.
Derek because he is the storyteller for Detroit by Night, and he is a wonderful person.
That he is. Can confirm.
Despite all evidence to the contrary, right?
And also give my bestie Spectre Deflector a follow. They do wonderful art.
I doodle sometimes.
You doodle sometimes.
Oh.
So anyone who hasn't given any of them a follow, you should go do so because I love all of their faces.
Thanks for the shoutouts.
Of course. Of course. So everybody gets one experience for showing up today, and the rest is divvied out amongst the three of you to battle it out to see who had the best scene, the best one-liners, and who moved the plot the furthest.
I already have best one-liner, and it's from Amber. It's a pleasure to meet you, Mr. Doyle. Benji.
Mr. Doyle, Benji.
There was a little bit of snark there. I will not lie. Lethality, that was beautiful.
Just
I
a
was
little.
like,
I'll give it to the new guy.
Wonderful. Amber, you get the best one line.
I will take it happily. Thank you.
So who moved the plot the furthest?
Hey.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with
I put the
Urien on that
idea.
one.
I put the idea in Benji's head.
And he said
pulled
yes.
the trigger, and I walked him all the way through it.
It's true.
I gotta take that one.
Yeah. Oh, definitely.
Cat, I'm going to fucking kill you if you keep looking up. Get out of my space.
Cat
So are
does not understand personal.
we giving
No, she don't. She really don't.
So we're giving plot to Derek,
Mm-hmm.
to Urien,
Mhm.
and best scene.
You know, I'm gonna give it to Benji. Specifically when Benji, like, we all heard it, that moment of realization of what they just got themselves into, what they just agreed to.
Yeah.
Like, oh no.
The moment when it was a kid and Benji's just.
Yep.
And it's just like, sigh. And
Yeah.
Benji's like, oh no!
Urien, it's like, I couldn't have hoped for better.
Well, I mean,
This is-
you have the three extremes of reaction. You have the, yeah, I couldn't have hoped for better. You've got the, oh no, this is terrible, and then this dead center of, okay.
I guess we're doing this.
This is what I'm doing. This is what I'm doing. It's fine.
Well, I mean, she doesn't particularly care about the kid. She doesn't want the kid to die. But anything besides that, she doesn't care.
Well, the nice part is, that's none of our decisions. That's entirely on Carlos.
Yeah, it is entirely on Carlos. Better make the right decision, buddy.
Oh, we know he won't.
Yeah,
Oh.
he's up. Oh, I mean, I don't know. This might be the incentive
Oh, he's gonna
required
be
to kick him in the pants and comply.
Oh, he's gonna be hungry as fuck, and he's gonna eat a goddamn kid like a chicken nugget.
Oh,
I'm not prepared for this.
do you think I wasn't planning ahead on this one?
I trust you are, but I'm scared. Well, okay, all right.
Welcome to World of Darkness.
Welcome to World of Darkness.
Yeah. No.
This is about.
In fact-
This is the darkest it's gotten so far. So.
I mean,
congrats.
if Yay.
Congrats on the first episode for lethality, being a very like morally dark one potentially.
Yeah,
Now
I mean,
here's the
potentially.
question.
Hmm.
Yeah, I want to end up offering to Spectre. How far do you think Urien has fallen? He proclaims himself to be the devil. He has followed through on every promise he has made. Are you 100% sure Urien is not about to feed a, a girl who has just lived months longer than Ash Ketchum to her father?
Well, you got a point there.
Really though, are we okay?
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh
yeah,
yeah.
oh yeah.
No issues here.
I have an idea of how
Derek,
Benji can negate most of it, so we're gonna be good.
Derek, I have no doubt that you are 100% okay, ish, when it comes to having a thick skin
Well, for this kind of stuff,
for this
but
kind of stuff.
I'll PM you something.
Okay,
I
but
mean, if it so happens that that kid ends up getting devoured like a 10-piece you just bought from McDonald's, uh, she's just Emma's just gonna be like, oi, 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 right.
what am I getting
That's
myself
the
into?
thing that just happened.
Hmm. But that concludes tonight's episode.
Wait, who got that last experience?
I think that
That
was a
would be
toss-in
Benji.
for you, yeah.
Oh,
Unless
Yeah.
That
somebody
would
else
be
has
Benji
yay.
Yeah.
because of the oh no moment.
Yeah.
the oh no
Like,
moment.
no, no.
Yeah. We all got 2 each.
Nice,
Yay.
delightful. But yes, just so everyone in the audience is aware, the stream schedule for Caffeine Fix has been changed to Saturdays and Mondays. Saturday night this week will be the first Caffeine Fix for the week. And so come back probably around 8:30 Mountain Standard Time on Saturday and we will do some drawing streams. Because I don't have anything to do on Sundays anymore. Well, aside from Detroit. But I can stay up late. It's fine. Otherwise, I have to go to work. But I need to shut down the stream. I love all of your faces. And I hope to see you guys back next week for more of these 3 delightful people. Say goodnight.
Yes.
Night.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.